I would like to start by expressing my heartfelt empathy towards all the Ukrainian children whose lives are being seriously compromised. Many children have died or been wounded as a result of horrendous attacks on civilian targets. Children live in fear of losing their lives and of losing their loved ones. Countless children cannot go to school. Many of them are displaced inside Ukraine or abroad. Families are torn apart. Ukrainian children cannot enjoy the innocent, carefree childhood they deserve and need. The reports of children being taken away from their families are heartbreaking. These reports point to an intense violation of their rights in a deliberate, organized manner. Independent experts have established that this deportation of Ukrainian children amount to war crimes. The forced adoption, acquisition of Russian nationality, militarization, and indoctrination of Ukrainian minors must stop. We must spare no efforts to identify and locate all unaccompanied and separate Ukrainian children that have been transferred or deported. We must continue to work on solutions to protect the children and restore family ties. Children's rights, and specifically the protection of children in armed conflict, is of the highest priority for my country. Belgium supports UNICEF in its efforts to monitor and report on the violation of children's rights. We have provided specific funding for UNICEF projects in Ukraine, including assistance for unaccompanied children and those separated from their families. My country also supports on a bilateral basis initiatives that benefit children and their education. Every day that the rights of Ukraine's children are violated, it compromises their future. And the children of Ukraine constitute the most precious component of Ukraine's future. Belgium will continue to support the coalition and the UN agencies to make sure that Ukraine's children will be able to flourish in an independent, prosperous, and safe Ukraine. I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I would now thank you, Your Majesty. I now give the floor to the representative of the Republic of Latvia, Edgars Rinkēvičs, the President of the Republic.
Thank you very much, Excellencies. Since 2014, Russia has abducted or forcibly relocated almost 20,000 Ukrainian children. They remain far from home, continue to be stripped of their national identity, adopted in Russian families, indoctrinated as soldiers for the occupying power. These atrocities are a direct result of Russia's war, deliberate violation of international laws and Geneva Conventions. Safe and unconditional return of Ukrainian children should be part of achieving peace. We commend Ukraine for placing its people at the center of the peace talks. Excellencies, we will not let Russia get away with these crimes. International community needs to make every effort to demand accountability from Russia. Latvia encourages broader sanctions targeting perpetrators of Russia's policy. We must ensure that the protection of all children are at the forefront of our efforts. Children grow fast. Time actually is not on our side. About 1,600 children have been returned, but it's not enough. We need to continue to pressure Russia to share the lists of children and their locations, give access to the International Committee of the Red Cross and human rights monitors. We will do everything in our power to return and to protect Ukrainian children. Latvia is ready to work together with Ukraine and other partners within the initiative to provide safe pathways home for Ukrainians returning home, especially deported children. We will continue to raise international awareness, working together with international organizations and non-governmental sector. We will be tireless in this endeavor until the last child is back to his or her loved ones. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I now give the floor to the representative of the Republic of Finland.
Thank you very much. You know, Olena, Volodymyr, Mark, and Diana, we quite often talk about the three pillars of statehood being independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. But I think essentially what we're speaking about here today, it really is about identity. So Suzanne, my wife, and I had the chance to visit you in Kyiv about a week and a half ago. And during that visit, I had a chance to meet an organization called the Voices of Children. And of course, when we look at war, there are elements of it that are brutal, vulgar, and unethical. But the kidnapping of children, I think, goes beyond all of that. And we have to think that it's not only about the children being abducted and taken away and Russified, but it's also about bringing them back and what happens to them when they bring back. So the organization that I was talking to said that they desperately needed more psychiatrists, because when the kids come back, and they have been told by the Russians that your parents don't love you, Ukrainians hate you, and you're a failure, the mental stress that you get as a child, no matter what age, is simply beyond anything that we can imagine. So my feeling is that not only is it a good thing that the International Criminal Court has issued an arrest warrant on President Putin and Maria Lvova, who is Russia's Commissioner of Children's Rights, but we have to make sure that the people who've been engaged in this kind of activity have to stand trial, have to take the responsibility. And the final point I want to make is that there's not one human being, depending on which side you are in this war, who doesn't understand how heinous this crime that Russia is doing is. So therefore, let's continue to work with this issue. Let's bring the kids back. Slava Ukraini.
I want to express my appreciation to President Stubb. I now give the floor to the representative